section. And what else do we have for stars? I feel like Antares is a star, is it not? It's also one of the uniques in this game, but let's go with it, shall we? And just hop right back in from the top here. Once more with feeling. And go through the usual routine, of course. Getting everything set up. Just so, and last but not least, do another quick dump file to grab the seed and throw that up on the screen. After nearly blinding myself with bright white text file. Beautiful. There we go. And let's do this, shall we? Start off with freeze at our disposal. I do really like Ice Elementalist starts in general, so I'm hoping that we can use this to good effect. We also start with a nice chunk of NP, or MP, thanks to the Meteoran start here, so it does put us in a nice advantageous position early on at the very least, and hopefully we can turn that into a successful run in general. Wouldn't that be nice? Hello, my slimy friends, and beautiful. I think Brown Dwarf could have been a good name for Meteoran Ice Elementalists. Definitely, yeah, still fitting in the star theme. Even like, trying to think of all the different cosmological entities. Trying to think of what would be blue. Oh gosh. Early Dagger of Venom is a bit of a nightmare, but managing to survive that means that we can then pick it up for ourselves here. I guess that's the thing, I've been going with stars we could name ourselves after, like nebulas, could be any kind of, just go for a general astrophysical theme. But okie dokes, let's go into intelligence early on. I'm hoping that we can get lucky with spellbooks. It's never a guarantee by any stretch. I also kind of forgot which character we were playing. Should have been checking out these downstairs as we pass them by. But hey, we will eventually get back in the general vicinity here and we can immediately start heading down. Before I waste too many more turns exploring level 1. And okie dokes, let's just keep at it, shall we? I mean, I'll take the free pile of money. If it's going to be right next to the stairs, I don't mind wasting the 2 turns to do so. Who knows, maybe we'll live to regret such a flippant use of even a single turn, but hopefully it does not make or break the run here. And let's definitely learn both Frozen Ramparts and Armor here, and that gets us in a half-decent spot. Yes, please. And I do love Frozen Ramparts. Sorry, Trog, I'm kind of into this Frozen Ramparts thing, so I'm probably gonna have to just leave you be for the time being here and keep moving on. Not too bad. Ooh, Orc Wizard is not exactly ideal, but if we kind of tuck ourselves off in a corner here, even give ourselves some extra armor, and everything should die here. Fantastic. You come to me, my friend. Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate it. There's about 63 light years away. Brown Dwarf, Witch Temperatures barely 300 Kelvin. Basically hot summer in Finland. That's a pretty dang hot summer, is it not? No, actually, no, that's not too bad, right? Because 273.5 is 0. So that's... yeah, no, that is just a nice summer's day. You're right. How about that? It would have been nice and fitting for sure, but as is, I'm happy with Antares here. I have faith that we will make it through the thick and the thin here today. I'll stay away from the Fated Altar on this run, and for the time being, we'll just keep on moving on. Can't believe we haven't found a stairwell yet. Excuse me, just a single downstairs, please. +2 pair of gloves is fantastic on a wizard start. Helmet, also can't say no to that. Beautiful. Putting us up to 6 AC, which is far and above what we'd normally see on a character like this, so can't complain by any stretch of the imagination. And let all the crowds come into our Frozen Ramparts, and that puts us in a pretty decent spot here. Yeah, I do love ice elementalists for sure. It's funny that they're not a suggested background, because I feel like it's almost a suggested background in my mind for just about any character you could possibly think of running, just because of how strong it is in the early game to have access to a really nice elemental AoE like Frozen Ramparts. And beautiful. Take care of our friends here. Take a quick dip up. Ooh, I was very hopeful about the spell book. Could maybe end up learning something like slow, but I don't really see it in our future. Not too shabby. And there is our downstairs as well, so we can, please continue exploring just a wee bit. Definitely need to give ourselves some better armor, though you, my friend, are just basically a nightmare. In skeletal form, 60% chance. If you, my friend, could just go check out up there, I'll be right behind you. Run, run, run. Okie dokie, so we have whites on the floor below us. That's less than ideal for sure. Oof. You like positional magic, makes spellcasting cool, or spellcasting tools feel different besides just different flavor of bolt. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So there's a tiny selfish part of me that misses back in the day when you could move with Frozen Ramparts up and it was just a stupidly powerful stupidly powerful spell, rather. Oh, you meant schools? Yeah, that makes sense. No, I do like the flavor of each spell school at the moment. Everything's definitely a bit more unique in the current iteration of the game, which is always fantastic. So, okay. Could the temple have been somewhere up here? Definitely could be. I'm tempted to just not concern myself with it for the time being, and let's just start on 5 and hopefully have some fortunate luck in our discoveries. Temple would be nice. I don't know who we want to worship, if we just want to go for a strong deity, or if we really want to aim for specifically like Bahamut or Sif. At least that gives us access to new spells without needing to rely on just stumbling across books in our mad sprint through the dungeon here. I would very much like to see Freezing Cloud, of course. That's one of the best tools for an ice elementalist here, but not going to be too greedy and just have to be happy with whatever we end up coming across in our travels. And so for the time being, let's just continue to explore this way without getting close to the whites, at least if at all possible. That's kind of the strategy and the plan for the time being here. Oh, heck. Could get hit. Does draining heal a lot? You know, I'm not actually too sure. I'm not super well versed in vampiric draining. It's not too bad. I think it heals for as much as it deals damage, so that's between 2 and 12 on your standard enemy. So I mean, healing 12 points is pretty fantastic. That's a huge advantage for sure. But we'll see if we end up going that direction. I think I'd need a little more impetus to do so, because I'm hoping, or actually, as an ice elementalist, I guess with Frozen Ramparts and Ozakuba's armor, we're pretty melee focused, so maybe it would be the right call. Heals for half the damage? Oh, okay, that makes a bit more sense. It was a bit strong in my my estimation there, so that's good to know. We'll definitely swap over to the leather armor here. We have a lot of willpower at least, so that's a rarity. For me at the very least. Love to see it. And we'll bring you up here, my jelly friend. Fantastic. Jivia Uzumatsu can help with that itch. Definitely has the same feel to old school Frozen Ramparts. I think I definitely felt that in our Deep Dwarf run back in the day. Hep is probably the right call. Probably, right? I think I'm gonna hold off on him for the moment here. By the time we head down to the next floor, I should probably make my decision one way or another. Again, it's one of those things where it's like, Do I feel like making the right call, or do I feel like giving in to my own desires and holding out hope for one of the other options? So that's a bit of a harder question for me to answer. With Hep, I guess we'd go with either the Knight Ancestor to be our tank. You know, I was gonna ore that, but don't have to think Meteoran is great for holding off, backtracking sucks for clock. Right? It's a pain, but I'm willing to sacrifice it here. Because I was very much hoping to get Behemoth Sif, especially just an altar popping up would have been nice. Again, I'm never too concerned about pure min-maxing at the end of the day here. I am looking to have a good time and maybe, just maybe, win while we're at it. And you know what? Sorry, Hep. I'm actually probably just gonna ditch you. And we're heading down, purely of our own volition, definitely not forced into it by our undead friend there. And let's look for the Economical Temple, shall we? You know, I just didn't want Hep as the thing, totally, again, of our own volition. Oh, jeez. But not too bad. We can hope that we still find the Economical Temple on this next floor here. You know what? Let's switch back to robes, since that will leave us in a half-decent spot. Let's stop equipping ourselves, and we have to deal with this son of a gun real quick. Fantastic. And +1 Whip of Flaming. I'll take it. There's maybe hope that we can face off against cold-resistant enemies now. Oh, didn't expect to have to prove just such a thing so early on here. Oh, and you are a dirty polearm user. How dare you? Well, in that case, let's just pop around this corner and do our best, shall we? Okay, the Flame Whip definitely helps out a great deal with dealing with these sons of guns. Fantastic. And rinse and repeat. It's nice that we can deal with them now and we don't have to keep running away. Whites are metagaming. How did they know my one weakness? Dying. But hey, we'll maybe make it through after all, and the Flame Whip is very nice against our Ice Beast friend here, so that is just lovely. Able to get a decent chunk of experience there, and then I'm hoping that we find some altars, otherwise I'm gonna live to regret all the decisions I've made up until this point in life. Still holding out hope though, I believe. In fact, I was gonna say this is gonna be the temple. Turns out, it's just Zom, baby. Hey Zom, how's it going? Do I dare refuse yet another deity here? I think I might. As risky as it may be, I feel like we're just going to keep moving. I could head over this direction real quick. And you, my friend, are a bit more manageable now, so we will kill you. +4 halberd is pretty wild. So now we could go back to Hep if we so desired. Oh, this is, even with my saying that I don't mind backtracking a little bit more than usual, this is going a little bit further than I intended, to say the least. But you know, we've had quite a few runs here where I've just been on a mad dash through the early game. I'm kind of tempted to see the other side of the happy medium, you know, experiment with both areas of the spectrum there, and then try to find myself in a happy middle ground in the future, where I know exactly how long I can take before things get less than ideal. Speaking of less than ideal, rather. That's a lot of pain, my friend. How much damage do you do? Up to 25? Oh, that is more than I wanted. 50% chance to charm you, or I just go for the hit. 75% chance for us to do so. You're weak to fire. I'm just gonna risk it. Fantastic. Never a doubt in my mind. Beautiful. And Scorpion gets much the same treatment. Oh look, positive energy right after we defeat the mummy. Wonderful. we're gonna just keep on keeping on. Our economical temple might have been on 4 that we left behind in a hurry, but I'm gonna hold out hope that it is in fact on 7 here, and we're on the verge of greatness. There's never a doubt in my mind, of course. Hello there, my mummified friend. Goodbye, and okie dokie. Let's get right back into the mix, shall we? Mom's winking at me. Definitely wanted a little something. Minecart's buzzkill. Boo, go be undead and smelly somewhere else. Well, fortunately, we showed that buzzkill exactly what he can do with his mummified remains, so that's fantastic. And okie dokie, what do we wish to do? Could transition into necromancy and try out some of the spells that we picked up, though I'm not feeling great about that. Alternatively, I guess some more defensive skills is not a terrible idea. Could train staves here. Add a staff of death. Oh yeah, that would have been a good idea to switch to, wouldn't it? Add some positive energy into our attempt. Whoopsie daisies. But then that opens up the necromancy question again. Do I use the staff of death for its intended purpose? Which is a rare occasion for myself, for sure. I think this is my one issue with spellcasting on Meteoran, is it's going to be tough to get spells unless we do happen to come across Sif or Vehement, which I'm holding out hope for. I believe in you two. I hope you believe in me, Sif. Though I would potentially lean towards Vehement for the time being. Ooh, a Sling of Freezing. That could potentially be fantastic. Oh, hello, Quaslal. I think I'm gonna have to say no once again here. The more often we do it, the greater the odds are that I'm gonna regret not picking up one of these many deities. I very much might be forcing things a little bit too much at the moment. Oh, but you're gonna be a problem. Or Kiku, do not disrespect Kiku like that. Oh, unfortunately, I do kind of disrespect Kiku like that. Mostly due to a lack of personal experience, to be fair. You know, I don't blame Kiku for my own shortcomings. But it is an unfortunate reality that I'm still biased based on their previous iterations and previous forms. Most dead guys are usually strong versus necromancy and ice, for sure, yeah. Ice elementalists are always going to have a wee bit of a hard time with those sons of guns. Again, the flame whip very much helping out in that regard. Another venomous dagger that I'm probably just going to ignore for the time being here. And maybe the temple's around this corner? No? Not quite? Not today? So run away from Pickle because we, of course, do not want to kill the Lemirs unless we absolutely have to. And oof, okay, that's most of the floor done and explored here, and I'm not seeing any temples. Well, that's not great. Kiku had a hard time, but it is better now. Right, so I've heard. So one day I'll have to give it a fair shake. In general, I think trying out Necromancer on our cat runs was a bit of a mistake from my end, because it made me think that they're not much better than they were back in the day, when really just cats are kind of rough. So maybe, just maybe, we'll re-explore that avenue at some point in the future, potentially when we get to Mummy. I know that was something I was slightly interested in the past. Yeah, we'll go with general spellcasting for the time being. Oops, Daisy says I accidentally hit a bunch of keys. Let's see, this Morningstar is a +3 Morningstar. Now that's tempting. Might have to end up going down that route in the future. Let's go for a bit of a heal off the stairs here, and then, unfortunately, kind of caught myself in a nasty situation here. It looks like Economical Temple might have been all the way up on 4, and we blew through the floor without really thinking about it. I don't know if it's at all reasonable for me to even attempt to go all the way back up. Again, guess because we largely explored these floors, they're not too bad. Oh, and finally, okay, Pickle comes by themselves, so I don't have to worry about murdering your innocent followers. Wonderful. And with that out of the way, you know what, let's just run the risk here. We might be doing something horrible in terms of the amount of turns we have overall, but sometimes you just have to believe in the heart of the cards here, and oh boy, do I ever believe. Let's do this. Hey, there it is. Wow. Incredible. So Ash, Nem, Che, Yared, McCleb. Hey, there's Kiku. Hello, my friend. The Shining One, and Vehamut. Okie dokie. Let's go with Vehamut here. And we'll just immediately sprint back downstairs to try and make up for lost time here. You know, besides, I should pick up these. What the heck am I doing with my life? Even this scroll is probably worth it. Okie dokie, not too shabby here. Let's run over this direction and get ID. Beautiful. You currently play Necromancer. Found a triple crossbow and portal projectile, so the walls of undead are really good defense. Ooh, that's very nice. But you like the logic? Cats gave Necromancy a fair game, so we'll try them on a good class like Mommy. You have a point. You have a point. Should listen to or think about what I'm going to say before I say it out loud, because that is a bit of an absurd sentiment from my end. Your only Kiku win came from finding the unrand art damnation in D4, so can't help with that. I mean, that sounds like the best strategy. It's better to be lucky than good. I've always said this. Oh gosh, none of these are heal wounds. Still no heal wounds. Maybe this one? Curing. That's close enough. I'm happy with that. Let's definitely put up our frozen walls once again here. Ooh, and you, my friend, are still a bit of a problem child. There we go. Fantastic. And hopefully this has now put us in a decent spot. I mean, again, that is one of the nice things about Ice Elementalist Start, is that Frozen Ramparts and Ozaku's armor is kind of strong enough to get you through potentially even Lair. The issue there is that that's how I feel on most characters. On Meteoran, once we dive into Lair, we're kind of committed. So that makes it a little bit of a harder pill to swallow, to say the least. But maybe it still will give us enough of a kick into gear here that we manage to just keep chugging along without too much issue one way or another. Definitely just let all of you kill yourselves on my walls. Fantastic. Can't do much kiting with a centaur. I'll pick up your bow for now, just in case that ends up becoming relevant in any way, shape, or form. And okay, spellcasting is now at 12, so that's a decent spot to potentially take a bit of a break. And what do we wish to do instead? Could just try and more fighting. I'm kind of holding off on putting too much experience into spell schools until we have a slightly better idea as to what we're going to have in that department moving forward. I guess we could go into range to use our sling or our bow. Evo is always good for sure. 5 dodge definitely seems reasonable as well, especially with how quickly armor came up. I might just go a bit defensive in general here. Yeah, that's the thing, Colgate. Evo is definitely good for the future, but doesn't help us out at all at the moment. We just have 4 charges of Charming here. So do you know what? I think I will go with defensive here. And let's try that again. Let's just bring dodging and armor each up to 5. Fighting as well. Let's try out something a little bit different this run. I'm usually not very defensively minded. So maybe it's about time we try out a slight change of plans there. I don't like that Wraith. That is concerning to me. Are you completely immune to cold or just resistant? Wait, are you not even... No, you're immune to cold. Okay, there we go. Thought I was losing my mind for a second there, but wow, we do manage to kill you thanks to... Again, this whip is the real MVP of the run so far. maybe I don't want to explore through a hard metal wall area. Generally, that's where all the really nasty things like to reside in the dungeon. So for the time being, let's just head right back out into the grand open air here and try it out. Well, 4 charge of charming is a bit more than nothing at all. Technically correct, for sure. Okay, I think we'll potentially just skip the rest of that floor. I guess, alternatively, we'll head to this stairwell, then skip the rest of that floor for the time being. Do I want to open up? Probably do not want to open up whatever hellhole awaits us on the other side of those doors. Why are we getting so many undead friends, eh? That's a wee bit rough to say the least. This one at least is only very resistant. Not even very resistant, just slightly resistant to cold. So we might as well have our walls up to help deal a little bit of damage in the meantime. And Orc Priest should go down fairly quickly. Fantastic. Not too bad. Game's good when Charm the Corn is a thing. Always good. Is that what better than that Battle Axe would have been? At this stage? Definitely. Late game? I mean, if I, had the patience to put in all the experience needed for the Battle Axe, obviously wouldn't be quite as big of a difference, but as is with 0 training, I would much rather have a whip than a Battle Axe. It pains me to admit, especially any of my previous Formicid runs would shudder at the thought, but unfortunately, I do believe that on this style of character, I'd rather have something that requires no training and has a half-decent capability to kick some butt and take some names, and that this does do in spades at the very least. Fantastic. So 2-headed ogre is a little bit of a non-starter for us here, so we'll just head right back on up for the time being, potentially taking the next downstairs that we find, but hopefully we can get a wee bit of experience in this zone before we need to move on. Beautiful. And I guess we could also find our lair entrance. How much of 8 did I explore? Fairly decent odds that we didn't leave it behind there. That might just turn this entire run into a constant game of backtracking, which, as was mentioned before, is kind of antithetical to the general Meteoran strategy, but we'll somehow make it work, I'm sure. I mean, 3,000 turns is hopefully a couple thousand more than we would even need at any stage. That's the dream at the very least. Imagine if picking up the Orb of Zot didn't remove the Zot clock and you had to account for that the entire time you were chugging along here. That would definitely make things a little bit trickier. Okay, I learned magic darts, so we have conjurations available to us here. And I could definitely see conjurations playing a role in the future. Actually, wait a minute, I'm worshipping Behemoth. Almost guaranteed I'll get some conjuration later on. So let's train at least a bit of that for the moment here. And maybe that's it until we find out what else we may uncover. And not too shabby. Wow, lots of high modifier unbranded enchanted weapons so far, especially with all the whites that we found earlier.